It's Lights Camera Jackson. Welcome to LCJ Live. Today is Sunday, November the 27th, 2022. Hope you all had a nice Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday. Tomorrow is Cyber Monday. And we've got some box office results here, as well as my thoughts on some new movies and on some movies coming up this week in the theaters and at home that you can watch. I've got my pals here. Iron Man, because the Robert Downey Jr., Robert Downey Sr. documentary, Senior, is on Netflix this Friday. And Puss in Boots, because I've seen Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and there were nationwide screenings yesterday. We'll talk about it all here. If you're watching now on YouTube Live, if you're watching live, you can send in your comments, your questions. I'll read them here. Let's get to the box office. Your winner for Thanksgiving weekend, as expected, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, number one again. 3-day of $45.9 million. 5-day, $64 million. It is up to $367.7. Needs about $45 million or so to pass Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which it will do. And we'll see how high it climbs on the MCU box office chart. But Black Panther is still doing really well for Disney and Marvel. In second is another Disney movie, but not nearly as successful as Black Panther. Strange World, the animated movie, earned $5.2 million Friday, just $6.7 million combined for yesterday and today. That is what Disney is estimating for an $11.9 million 3-day, $18.6 million 5-day. If you remember exactly a year ago when Disney Animation put out Encanto, which families knew ahead of time was going to be in theaters exclusively for 30 days before going to Disney+, Encanto had a $40 million 5-day. This is less than half. That's not good. Disney not happy, but Bob Iger is back. Yes, and my tweet helped make that happen. Bob Iger is back. He's going to change the dynamic and the momentum at Disney to prevent something like this from happening again. So there you go. Strange World, 18.6. Now, here's the thing. Puss in Boots had nationwide screenings yesterday. I believe that they took some money away from Strange World. I really do. We don't have the results yet for how those Puss in Boots screenings did, but probably a couple $1 million at least. That'll go into the total once it opens in mid-December, December the 21st. It's a fun movie. I saw Strange World as well. I prefer Puss in Boots over Strange World. We'll see if they both end up nominated for animated feature in some awards categories. I vote for the Critics' Choice Awards in less than 2 weeks, and we'll see how Puss in Boots does. I think it'll do very well for Universal and DreamWorks during the holiday season. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. I love Strange World, says Liza Friedman. Thank you very much, Liza, for commenting. Strange World, when I went to see it on Friday, lots of families, lots of little ones, 4 to 8-year-olds with popcorn buckets watching the movie. Probably a lot went to Puss in Boots as well. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. $9.2 million for the 3-day, $13.3 million for the 5-day. That is the industry estimate, because Netflix doesn't feel like they can put out the full box office. They should. They should formally put out the numbers, because Glass Onion is the third biggest movie in the country in far fewer theaters than Black Panther and Strange World and many of the other movies. $13.3 million is huge, because everybody who wanted to go see it wanted to go see it now. They didn't want to wait a month for it to be on Netflix. Strange World looked very Avatar-inspired aesthetically, says Liza Friedman, and Black Panther: Wakanda Forever with all the people in the water as well. Hey, Lights, can I get a shout-out for my friends Dan and Leah? They got engaged this week, says Brian and Charlie Video. Hey, Dan and Leah, congratulations on your engagement. That is awesome. And thank you to Brian and Charlie Video for commenting here on YouTube Live. Congratulations on your engagement, Dan and Leah. All the best to you. All right. So Glass Onion doing really well. I hope this inspires Netflix to officially report the results, and maybe they'll put even more of their movies in theaters. Look at what Amazon is doing. Amazon committing to their films being in theaters. Now, Amazon Studios films have always been in theaters, some of them, especially landmark theaters, locations, select theaters around the country. Some of their movies in conjunction with Prime Video directly and not in conjunction with Prime Video directly. I've seen many films in the theaters, or they have been in the theaters, from this past award season with Being the Ricardos to, remember, Brad's Status, Brittany Runs a Marathon, My Policeman most recently. So Amazon movies go to theaters, but they want this to be much wider. They want some of the bigger chains to also pick up these movies, so they're committing to the theatrical experience, which is awesome for Amazon to do. Let's see, Devotion. I expected Devotion to do better than this. $6 million for the 3-day, $9 million for the 5-day. I don't know. Maybe people thought it was going to be too similar to Top Gun Maverick. It's got one of its stars in it, Glenn Powell. Maybe it'll have some momentum into Christmas time, but I'm not sure. I think Sony was expecting much more than $9 million for the 5-day for Devotion, at least double digits, if not closer to 15, 16, $17 million. This is on the lower end. The Menu added $5.2 million in the 3-day, $7.3 million in the 5-day. It's at 18.7. Maybe it'll get to 35 million for Searchlight. Depends on if it has another award season boost, but it'll probably be on a VOD or streaming service like HBO Max and the HBO channel pretty soon. That is The Menu. 3.4 million more for Black Adam in the 3-day, 4.6 in the 5-day. It's at 163. About 10 million away from passing F9 and Hobbs and Shaw. We will see if it gets there. I think it's going to need a bit of a boost to do that, but 163 million is the total currently for Black Adam. Couple movies tied this weekend. New wide expansion releases. One is The Fabelmans, the Steven Spielberg movie, 2.2 million. It is at 3.4 million total. And Bones and All, which made 2.2 million in the 3-day, and it's at 3.7 total. Just about, somewhere in that range. Interesting. The Fabelmans is in far fewer theaters than many of the other movies. The Fabelmans is in about the same number of theaters as Glass Onion. So about 630, 640, 650 theaters. And The Fabelmans had a high per-screen average. Glass Onion had a really high per-screen average. But this will be interesting to see if Universal continues to expand The Fabelmans. In my market, here in upstate New York, only one theater had The Fabelmans this weekend and probably did very well. So we'll see how big the expansion is for The Fabelmans over the coming weeks and as some of the award season nominations are unveiled. Ticket to Paradise is at $65 million now. It added a couple $1 million over the holiday weekend. The Chosen, Season 3, Episodes 1 and 2, round out your top 10. $1.5 million. It's at 13.3, just like Glass Onion. She Said, which I watched the other night, and is a very good movie, added about $1.5 million over Thanksgiving. It's at 4.3. I can understand why nobody's going to see it, but you should go see it. I can understand it only because I think a lot of people think they know this story already. It's very recent. We've had a lot of journalism movies lately, Spotlight, The Post, and others, and people probably think they know everything. The interesting thing about She Said is it does not reveal much new if you follow the story. If you followed the story 5 years ago of Harvey Weinstein. However, the way this movie is done, the performances, the engagement, you are so invested, you are so engaged. The way we listen in on these conversations, we witness these conversations, and we see the determination from these journalists, from everyone at the New York Times. Zoe Kazan and Carey Mulligan are great. I also think Patricia Clarkson and Andre Braugher in supporting roles are fantastic. It is a good ensemble. It's a good screenplay. It is moving in parts. It is powerful in parts. It is surprising in parts. Is it a perfect movie? No. There are some flashback scenes I don't think work quite as well as the filmmakers intended, and some other aspects I didn't quite love. But overall, She Said is a very good movie that you should go see. Give it a little money if you can before it goes out of theaters, because it'll probably be gone pretty quickly and could still receive Best Picture and award season nominations, but you should go see it. She Said in the theaters. Lyle Lyle Crocodile probably added about $1 million, and it's going to make more than Devotion. I thought Devotion would pass Lyle on the chart. I don't think that's going to happen. Lyle getting up close to 45 million. The Inspection, which I watched the other night, is at $174,000 total before it goes nationwide this Friday. It's in select theaters currently. The Inspection is an okay movie. I wish it was more powerful. It's fairly straightforward, and I will say Jeremy Pope gives a good performance. It is a demanding performance from him. Gabrielle Union, I think her performance is getting a little overhyped. She's in basically 3 scenes, an extended one early. She's in about 30 seconds in the middle, an extended one towards the end. Okay, I don't think a nomination-worthy performance. Jeremy Pope is good. The movie itself, I don't think has quite the emotion and the power that the filmmakers intended, though it is based on the true story. And there are moments that do get you, absolutely. I don't think it's quite as good as She Said or some of these other. It's better than The Fabelmans, but I don't think it's quite as good as some of the other movies. Bones and All and The Son. I review those with Mike Sargent on a new episode of the Too Fast, Two Films podcast, which will be up soon at toofast2films.com. And now, let's talk about the movies that are coming out this week. So, we have The Inspection going nationwide. Spoiler Alert, which is a new drama with Jim Parsons and Sally Field, that is in select theaters. Violent Night is the big wide release. David Harbour as Santa Claus. This, to me, has the feelings of Fat Man. Fat Man came out 2 years ago. It was Mel Gibson as Santa Claus and Walton Goggins as the bounty hunter. And now you've got John Leguizamo as the bounty hunter. I think Universal saw Fat Man and said, we got to make our own major studio version of this. And that is Violent Night. Now, with Black Panther making $46 million this past weekend, it could drop to 20. Will Violent Night make more than $20 million? Probably not. So Black Panther will probably be number one for a fourth weekend. But we'll see how Violent Night does. Senior, I mentioned, is on Netflix. And Scrooge, A Christmas Carol, new animated musical version of the classic Christmas Carol story, which has some depth and some decent songs, is on Netflix this Friday. The Sun is currently in its New York and LA qualifying run. And I saw Nicole Kidman donated $100,000, Broadway Cares, for at the Music Man showing with Hugh Jackman last night. That video is all over social media. White Noise, which I have seen, is in select theaters from Netflix. That's on Netflix at the end of the year. And last night I watched The Wonder, which is on Netflix now, with Florence Pugh, which is a surprisingly good movie. Another story worth investing in. And a lot of intrigue and suspense and surprise and good performances and good impact overall. I recommend The Wonder. Check it out on Netflix. Hopefully it'll get some buzz and some momentum this award season. We will have to see. Well, yeah, Black Panther's going to be number one next weekend, probably. Violent Night, probably number two, because Strange World with 11.9, it'll drop to about 6.5, maybe less. Violent Night will probably come in second. It'll make more than that. And I don't know at this point if Netflix is considering extending the theatrical run of Glass Onion, because it's only supposed to be out for a week, from Wednesday to Tuesday. So 13/3 through Sunday, 2 more days, that'll probably bring it up to a little less than or a little over $15 million, maybe 16 or 17 million. That's huge. Maybe Netflix will consider leaving it in theaters. I don't know. We will have to see. Maybe those stories will come out tomorrow. They may be debating that right now. They may be having emergency meetings saying, can we extend this longer? We'll have to see. Maybe films like Devotion and The Menu will be steady, and The Fabelmans expansion, maybe it'll climb up the charts. We will have to see, for sure. That'll be next Sunday. We'll see if I'm on next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern. It might be a different time, might be a different day. Working on some things because I am doing promotions and a book tour, a rockin' book tour for my holiday book, My Very Rocky Christmas, which you can get for your family on Amazon. My Very Rocky Christmas. Get it now for the holidays. Christmas is just, 4 weeks from today? I think it is. 4 weeks from today. Unbelievable. If you want your copy of My Very Rocky Christmas, get it now. Get it from Amazon or shoptbmbooks.com. Have it for your family for Christmas. I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you enjoyed watching today's episode of LCJ Live with an engagement shout out. There you go. For more, as always, go to my Twitter. That's at LCJ Reviews. If you're watching on YouTube Live, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's Lights Camera Jackson. The Instagram is at Lights Cam Jackson, and the website is lights-camera-jackson.com. I've been screening a bunch of movies. Empire of Light, and She Said, and Knives Out, Puss in Boots, Bones and All, The Wonder, The Inspection. I'm forgetting one or two. I know I am. I've been screening a bunch of movies, and I have more to watch over the next week and a half before I vote for the nominees for the Critics' Choice Awards, which will be announced on Wednesday, December the 14th. Still got about a dozen movies I want to see before the end of the year, and probably sneak in a few others as well. I'm Lights Camera Jackson. Thank you for watching today's episode of LCJ Live. Have a good Sunday. Fly, Eagles, fly, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.